What is up, people, and welcome back to part 46 of my F1 2016 career mode here at the Russian Grand Prix. If you missed Season 1, Season 2, and the first 3 rounds of Season 3, then you can go click the little card annotation in the top right-hand corner of your screens to go catch up with everything that's happened over this career mode so far. But we're here today at the Russian Grand Prix, which is a track that I have done well at over the last couple of seasons. We won it in Season 2. And I think we got 11th place in Season 1, but only because it was raining, and at that time we weren't really very good in the rain, especially in the Renault that we had. So Russia is a track that is definitely one of my favourites. I definitely think that I can do well around here and hopefully get another good position, build upon that second place that we got last time out of the Chinese Grand Prix. But before we get into today's episode, Chris has a little bit of news for us in terms of research and developments. Let's head over to him and see what he has to say.
Okay, I've got something for you. The new parts have been fitted to the car. The simulation numbers are good, so look forward to your feedback. Check out the details.
So last time out at the Chinese Grand Prix, we were finally able to upgrade a bit of our car, and we decided to spend that on downforce because that's where our car has been lacking over the first 3 races. So we decided to upgrade the downforce. Looks like Manor have also upgraded the downforce on their car and the chassis weight. Toro Rosso, the best team in Formula 1, going further ahead, upgrading the chassis weight and their fuel consumption as well. Just look how far they are, nearly completing that bar, our Toro Rosso. We have jumped above Red Bull Racing though in terms of vehicle performance comparison, and Manor have moved above Haas and McLaren in their one, so they are doing very well. But let's head over to practice and see how that upgrade affects the car. First practice session of the Russian Grand Prix, and this is a great opportunity to get loads of resource points to help us upgrade our car, which will definitely help us as the season goes on. But here we are going around the final corner now on the track acclimatization, coming across the line, and as you can see, just about nicking the purple score there, 525 points. We also get a team objective for fuel saving as well, so very nice indeed on that one. And then we go and do the tyre wear management around the final corner once again, as you can see, with 75 points, cutting that final corner just a little bit and getting 85 out of 105, which once again is good enough for the purple score. But unfortunately, that is where our practice session came to an end. We could not do the qualifying objective, and unfortunately I don't actually know where we positioned in practice because I did not actually scroll down, but I'm pretty sure it was well down the back of the field towards maybe 20th or 22nd once again. But practice doesn't really matter because we're on different fuel loads to the rest of the other guys, so it doesn't really matter too much. What does matter is getting a good result in qualifying. Hopefully we can do that, but let's head over to the qualifying session and see how we do.
Guess who made the gossip columns this morning? Everyone's talking about this new rival you have. Check his stats out.
Before we head over to qualifying, though, we have a new rival after Kimi Räikkönen destroyed us last time out, and it's Danny Kvyat, who is in the Toro Rosso, which is going to be a really difficult rival to beat. You know, Toro Rosso are a very, very good team, best team in F1 at the moment. Danny Kvyat has had a bad start to the season, hence why he is just above us in the championship. We've had a good start to the season, but once again, getting thrown under the bus with a very, very difficult rival. Hopefully, we can beat him in today's qualifying session. It's time for qualifying here at the Russian Grand Prix. We'll be looking to get a very decent result here indeed. Build upon the results that we had in Australia and in Bahrain as well. And forget about what happened in the Chinese Grand Prix. We're going to move on from that and try and get a decent result here today. I do reckon I can get out of Q1. I do reckon I've got a chance to get out of Q2 as well, but it's going to be very, very tight. It's just going to be literally on the verge of getting into Q3 if that is a possibility. But let's head on track, see what we can do in Q1, and hopefully just keep on going through the sessions and get into Q3. First lap then here in qualifying, round the last 2 corners. What's the time going to be good enough for? Around the final corner now, running it a little bit too wide across the line, and it's a 1:36.76. So a very, very good lap here in qualifying, beating Max Verstappen at the moment. Not quick enough to beat our teammate, but it still could be good enough to get us through into Q2. We're just going to have to wait and see what happens there. Yes, it is good enough to get into Q2. 9th position at the moment in qualifying, and that is a very, very decent result to build upon as the sessions go on. So hopefully we can carry that on and get through Q2 into Q3. Here we are around the final couple of corners in our first lap in Q2. Final corner now, much better than what we did in the first session, and it's good enough for third position of 1:36.861, beating Max Verstappen once again. Not faster than Daniel Ricciardo though. He has gone quicker than us in this session so far. We're going to head back to the pits, and it is good enough for a lap time in Q3. 9th position on the grid at the moment. Pascal Wehrlein also getting through into Q3. Nico Hulkenberg, our teammate, unfortunately not making it through by 1,000th of a second. That is the gap that he missed out to Pascal Wehrlein. But here we are, first lap here in Q3, round the final corner, all running it wide once again. We've been struggling with that corner throughout the whole of the race weekend so far, but it's good enough for a 136.688, and we're going to go back to the pits and set another lap time on our Q3 tyres. So here we are, final corner once again. We've got one lap after this one. It is an improvement, but it's not enough to improve on our position. It's only 82 thousandths of a second faster, 136.605. So we've got one more lap left in this session. Is this lap time gonna be an improvement on the previous ones? Checker flag is out. We can finish this lap time 2 tenths quicker at the moment as we go through the final corner, running it wide. We really struggled with that corner across the line. I think it was an improvement, but was it an improvement on position? Yes, it is. 8th position here in qualifying. A great result for us, nearly beating our best qualifying result of the season, which was a P7 in Bahrain, but still a very decent result here today. Carlos Sainz, he goes ahead and gets pole position with a 135.249, with Danny Kvyat lining up alongside him in second place. Lewis Hamilton is in third with Sebastian Vettel fourth. Jolyon Palmer in fifth. Daniel Ricciardo will line up in sixth with Kevin Magnussen seventh. Alongside him is myself in eighth with Nico Rosberg ninth and Pascal Wehrlein rounding out the top 10 with a very, very good result. Not too sure how he got into Q3 because his lap time was about over a second slower than Nico Rosberg's time. So a bit strange that Pascal Wehrlein did manage to get into Q3, but really struggled in the final qualifying session. But just look at the gap between Danny Kvyat and Lewis Hamilton. 6 tenths of a second is the gap from Lewis Hamilton to Carlos Sainz. There's not much of a gap between Carlos Sainz and Danny Kvyat. So the Toro Rossos are very, very quick at the moment at this stage of the career mode. But that is it for today's qualifying session. Let's head over to the race for the Russian Grand Prix. It's race day here at the Sochi Autodrome as the cars will soon be flying around this former Winter Olympic Park here at the Russian Grand Prix. We'll be looking to build upon our fantastic P2 last time out at the Chinese Grand Prix, starting that race down in 20th position. We're starting in a much more favourable position here today, P8 on the grid, nearly doing as well as we did in Bahrain, which was a P7. That race, unfortunately, we finished in P4, so we'll be looking to do better here today. Looking at the Drivers' Championship, Carlos Sainz leads the way 5 points ahead of his closest rival, Kevin Magnussen, who is currently in second. And as we look at the Constructors' Championship, Toro Rosso 90 points at the moment, 30 points ahead of Renault. So they have a huge gap at only the third round of this season. Carlos Sainz lines up in pole position with his teammate Danny Kvyat alongside him in second, and ourselves are down in P8 on the grid. So a really, really good qualifying session for us, and we'll be looking to build on from there, try and get as many positions as we possibly can at the start, and maybe try and compete for another podium position. Look at the race strategy. We don't need to really change this too much. We will be starting on the super soft tyres because we did manage to get into Q3, and we will be pitting for the softs on the midway stage of the race and taking those till the end. So we are on the formation lap as we get the car and the race underway for today's Russian Grand Prix. Just getting away very, very cleanly. Start to warm up the brakes, warm up the tyres, and really start to see what we can do in this race. Hopefully we can have a decent start and try and overtake as many guys as we possibly can. So the lights coming on now. It's 5 red lights. Lights out, and away we go for the Russian Grand Prix. It's a good start compared to some of the guys ahead of us, especially Daniel Ricciardo and Sebastian Vettel as we go down in towards turn 1. Nico Rosberg squeezing us on the inside. Looks like Nico Hulkenberg also having a good drive through that corner as we go up the inside in towards turn 2. Under braking, can we get Sebastian Vettel up the inside? Yes, we can. Going into the back of Danny Kvyat there, who goes side by side with Kevin Magnussen through turn 3. Just fits in behind the Renault driver. We're having a little look around the outside of turn 3, but unfortunately cannot get a position through there. Can we do anything through turn 4? No, we can't. We just decide to tuck back behind Danny Kvyat for the time being. Be a little patient and try and get past him maybe later on in the lap through this right-hander of turn 5. Down towards turn 6 and 7. Still right behind Danny Kvyat at the moment. Kevin Magnussen ahead of him. Jolyon Palmer is in third, with Lewis Hamilton moving up into second and Carlos Sainz holding on to the lead of the race. Danny Kvyat not having the best of starts, dropping from second down into fourth position, so not very good at all. But here we are right behind Danny Kvyat at the moment through this right-hander just before the long back straight. Law losing the back end quite a bit there. That's going to lose us a little bit of time to Danny Kvyat, but the straight line speed that we have in this Force India is so much better than Toro Rosso. Look at how much we're gaining on him down to the next corner. Up the inside of Kevin Magnussen as well. Yes, we can. Up the inside of K-Mag, and that is a great move up into P4 for the Russian Grand Prix, right behind Jolyon Palmer, and hopefully be trying to get him within the next couple of laps as well. Kevin Magnussen right on our tail, though we do need to defend from him and Danny Kvyat, because both of those guys will be very, very quick soon in the race. Let's have a look at a replay, though, of what's happened at the start on board with Pascal Wehrlein. So not a good initial pull away from Pascal Wehrlein, and his car is just not going anywhere. It's just a sitting duck at the moment on the starting grid, having a lot of drivers go into the back of him, and I think there's another driver who is also going slowly. It might be the Red Bull of Max Verstappen, I think it is. Going down towards turn 1, Pascal Wehrlein gets a jump on all these guys in towards turn 2, sorry. And then in towards the long left-hander of turn 3, Max Verstappen dives it up the inside, but then decides not to go. So those two going side by side at the moment, not too sure what's happened, but we have seen that in races before, especially the Australian Grand Prix, where Felipe Massa, Jenson Button and Nico Rosberg were all going side by side very, very slowly, and that caused a huge collision in that race. But here we are going on the attack on Jolyon Palmer, down into the same place that we got Kevin Magnussen up the inside. Is it going to be job done? Yes, it is. Jolyon Palmer maybe having a little look at a cutback, but not being able to make it stick. And there we are, up into the podium position in this Russian Grand Prix, with Jolyon Palmer right at our tail, looking to get past us soon in the race. We do need to be aware of that, and we do need to defend from Jolyon Palmer. A bit of deja vu here. We were batting with Jolyon Palmer in the Russian Grand Prix last season quite a bit. It was literally non-stop for a lot of laps with Jolyon Palmer. Will that happen here today? We're just going to have to wait and see as Jolyon Palmer going on the attack in towards the back straight. He's going to get the inside line, which will then be the outside line in towards this next corner. We're going to try and sneak it up the inside, which we have done. And there we go, holding on to P3 in this race. Jolyon Palmer not being able to find a way through there. And Jolyon Palmer, he's just trying to find a way through, but unfortunately just not being able to get anything on us at the moment in this race. We're going through the right-hander before the long back straight. The two guys of Max Verstappen and Pascal Wehrlein going slowly up ahead of us, so we need to find a gap to get through. There's not a lot of room between these two guys. We're deciding to go to the right-hand side, up the inside into the corner. No, there's a huge crash behind us. I think that's 4 drivers getting involved. That Pascal Wehrlein out of the race, Max Verstappen out of the race, Jolyon Palmer's out of the race, safety car is deployed, and Kevin Magnussen is out of the race. Both of the Renault drivers out of the race. Danny Kvyat looking like he might have got through that, and yes he did, but oh my god, I saw a manna flying in my mirrors. Not too sure what has gone on there, and I was slowing down through that corner because I was just sure that they were going to fly in front of me, and if I stopped, then I might have avoided that, but I probably put myself in more of a dangerous position through that corner when all those guys were going through the corner. But yeah, oh my god, what on earth happened into that corner? We hopefully will have a replay of that very, very soon, but let's watch on board with the pit stop phase. Hopefully we don't lose any positions in the pits at the moment. Going on to a set of soft tyres after those super soft tyres. They would take us a couple more laps, but we thought it's probably best while the safety car's out to come into the pits and get a bit of a strategy call, as it looks like there's a few guys not coming into pits at the moment, and that includes Ericsson, Kimi Räikkönen and Valtteri Bottas as well. But looks like we're going to get the jump on Valtteri Bottas. Can we go up the inside of Kimi Räikkönen down in towards this next corner? It's side by side at the moment. Will it give us position? No, it won't. It's decided that we have gone illegal overtake over Kimi Räikkönen, which is fair enough. He was ahead of us at the as we came out of the pit, so unfortunately we do have to give that position back to the Ferrari driver. Right then, let's have a look at a replay of what's happened down in towards that corner. Pascal Wehrlein going side by side at the moment with the Red Bull of Max Verstappen. Going down into this corner. Oh, there's 4 drivers collecting, flying, flips everywhere. Cars rolling all over the place. Oh, Pascal Wehrlein very, very close to going into the side of Danny Kvyat there. So Danny Kvyat very, very lucky to stay in this race. Let's have a look on board with not Max Verstappen, Marcus Ericsson, not Marcus, Kevin Magnussen. That's who it is. Goes into Max Verstappen. Not exactly too exciting on board. Whoa, Pascal Wehrlein going for a flip in front of the Renault, who gets parked up alongside Max Verstappen there. He's on board with the Red Bull driver of Max Verstappen. I don't think his one was too exciting either, going down in towards this right-hander. And or you can just see Jolyon Palmer going upside down. I'm looking forward to seeing what happened on board with Jolyon Palmer. He's on board with Pascal Wehrlein though, going down in towards the right-hander. So we're just looking for the contact in the rear from him, which he gets there, gets squeezed by the Renault, goes upside down once again, and then rolls straight across the track. Very lucky not to go into the side of Danny Kvyat there, although it probably would have taken him out of the race as well. Jolyon Palmer on board with him. Right behind us at the moment, going down in towards this right-hander, and he just gets collected by the rest of the guys. Dude does a barrel roll over the barrier there, and very lucky not to go into the side of Nico Rosberg. He's on board with Daniel Ricciardo. So this is what we see, the whole thing on board with him. Let's see what he saw going down into this corner. All those guys collect, so rolling all over the place. Can he avoid any contact? No, he can't. He actually gets hit. Oh, he was actually saved there by Kevin Magnussen. Kevin Magnussen gave him a tap, which put him off his line. If he'd carried on that line, Pascal Wehrlein would have collected him and would have definitely taken him out of the race. But here we are on the first lap of the safety car, finally catching up to it. Currently in 4th position in this race. Looks like Lewis Hamilton and Carlos Sainz are into the pits, so we are going to move up into 2nd place in the race and now be right behind the safety car going down in towards turn 1 and then in towards turn 2. But no! Lewis Hamilton and Carlos Sainz, because they're in the pit lane, get to jump the safety car. And now what does this mean? Are we going to be stuck behind the safety car, or do we get to re-overtake it? We do get to re-overtake it, but that is ridiculous. The safety car should have been further up past the pit lane exit so that we can have the chance to get past Lewis Hamilton and Carlos Sainz. It's really frustrating, but here we are on the safety car restart right behind Carlos Sainz, but unfortunately not getting a good restart at all into the final 2 corners. Right behind Kimi Räikkönen, but there's just a huge gap at the moment. Valtteri Bottas right on our tail going down in towards turn 1 and turn 2. Can he do anything to get past us on the safety car restart? Lap 11 at the moment. Valtteri Bottas on the outside down in towards turn 2. It's going to be side by side in towards this corner on the safety car restart, but unfortunately can't do anything. We just hold the inside line and he has to yield position for the time being. But can he do anything later on in the race? He's currently on the Superstar tyre, so he will definitely have to pit once again. So we're on board with Kimi Räikkönen, possibly be challenging with Lewis Hamilton down in towards turn 2. He will have DRS on the Mercedes driver down in towards turn 2. Can he do anything in this race? No, he can't. There's smoke flying out the back of that Ferrari. He is out of today's Russian Grand Prix. Once again having an engine failure. He had an engine failure at the Chinese Grand Prix. So the reliability on that Ferrari is really harming Kimi Räikkönen's chances this season. But we're now on board with Danny Kvyat on lap 15, going for an overtake on ourselves down in towards turn 2, following the slipstream and using the DRS at the moment. Down in towards turn 2, going to try it round the outside. Can he do anything? No, he can't. We go a little bit too deep into the corner. He does the switchback. Great move there from Danny Kvyat. Daniel Ricciardo follows him through. Nico Hülkenberg trying to follow him through as well, round the outside of the long left-hander of turn 3. Nico Rosberg going up the inside though of Nico Hülkenberg down towards turn 4. If we run it wide, it's going to allow Nico Rosberg to have a look up the inside down in towards turn 5, which he does do side by side into this corner. Still side by side, a little bit of contact between the two of us. Nico Rosberg driving into the side of us there, which was really, really frustrating. Down in towards turn 7 now, and unfortunately we have not got the position on Nico Rosberg. Not too sure what has happened to us. We've just lost our usual pace around this circuit, and we've lost 3 positions in the space of 3 corners in this race. Really, really frustrating so far in the Russian Grand Prix, and running it wide once again on the exit of that corner, and that's allowed Nico Hülkenberg to get a position on us. We need to make sure that we do not lose position to Roman Grosjean in this race, otherwise that would have been 5 positions lost in this lap. But here we are looking up the inside of Nico Hülkenberg. Can we gain one back? Yes, we can on Nico Hülkenberg. Maybe a slight amount of corner cutting there on the inside, but nevertheless we've got the job done on our teammate up into P6 and now looking to hunt back Nico Rosberg. But here we are on board with Nico Hülkenberg on lap 16, going through the fast left-hander of turn 3 in towards turn 4. Now we've run it wide once again, and Nico Hülkenberg just goes straight into the side of us, damages his front wing. There was nowhere, absolutely nowhere for us to go. We are on the outside, half of our car is off the track. Where are we going to go, Nico Hülkenberg? Where on earth are we going to go? But this made me decide that we are teammates, and it's about time I let him through. If he's got a chance to go catch up to Nico Rosberg and get more points for the team, it's probably best that we go do that. So I allow Nico Hülkenberg through at this stage of the race, putting it down into lean mix. Just let him through on the outside, down in towards turn 2. And there goes Nico Hülkenberg up into P6. We are down into P7, looking to defend from Roman Grosjean at this stage of the race as we fly through the left-hander on lap 17. Can we do anything though? We're right behind Nico Hülkenberg, so he's not exactly getting away from us. So he might be able to get the job done on Nico Hülkenberg, but unfortunately we don't. Nothing happens for the rest of the 10 laps. Carlos Sainz though coming round the final corner to make it 2 wins in a row in this 3rd season of career mode. A great result for the Spanish driver, and that's really going to help him in the championship, gaining 25 points to his closest rival, which was Kevin Magnussen, who crashed out thanks to that amazing crash down in towards this corner, which we are going through right now. We're currently in P7 in this race on lap 27. We've got Sebastian Vettel gaining on us, as well as Roman Grosjean down into the last couple of corners. I don't think that they're going to have enough to go for the overtake, but it could be very close going down into the last couple of corners. Sebastian Vettel right on our tail at the moment. 2 corners left to go in this race. I don't think it's going to be enough for Seb to get past us. We're going to come around the final corner for a decent 7th position here in this Russian Grand Prix. It may not have been as good as we were hoping for after the first couple of laps, but still P7 is definitely a gain on where we started. A decent race here today at the Russian Grand Prix. It had the makings to be an absolute cracker after that amazing crash on lap 6, but unfortunately it just sort of died down after the safety car, and it was just sort of a boring race pretty much from lap 17 onwards. But Carlos Sainz is today's race winner. Unfortunately, it's not going to be 4 race winners in 4 races. Carlos Sainz making it his 2nd race win of the season after winning the Chinese Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton finishing 2nd to really help Mercedes in this championship. Danny Kvyat bringing his car home in 3rd at the end of the day, with Nico Rosberg in 4th, Daniel Ricciardo in 5th, Nico Hülkenberg, my teammate, getting his first points of the season in 6th, with myself in 7th, Sebastian Vettel in 8th, Romain Grosjean 9th, and Fernando Alonso getting the final World Championship points. So a hard race for us, a very, very tough race for us here at the Russian Grand Prix. I thought it was going to be a lot better going into it, and after that huge crash on lap 6, ourselves in P3, and with the safety car coming out and up into P2 momentarily, I did think that we were actually going to have a good chance of getting a race win here today, but unfortunately that one lap where we made so many mistakes, we lost so many positions, and unfortunately it just wasn't going to be at the end of the day. Looking further down the field though, and there's our 5 DNFs. Kimi Räikkönen, who got the engine failure, and then the 4 guys who got caught up in that collision on lap 6. Kevin Magnussen, Jolyon Palmer, Max Verstappen, and Pascal Wehrlein being involved in one of the biggest crashes I've ever seen on an F1 game. Jenson Button and Marcus Ericsson, the only guys making a 2-stop in this race, I believe because they had a collision around the end of the race. But let's have a look and see how this affects us in the driver's standings. And unfortunately we have dropped down into P5 in the driver's standings. Lewis Hamilton has 2 points over us at the moment at this stage of the season. Nico Rosberg is quite a way off us, but if he has some decent results once again, then he can certainly get involved in that battle as well. Carlos Sainz, 30 points ahead of Danny Kvyat and Kevin Magnussen at this stage of the season, has a huge advantage over those two after Kevin Magnussen crashed out and Danny Kvyat having that really awful race in Australia where he got bullied so much. So Carlos Sainz, it's kind of his turn to have a bit of bad luck in a race. Will that happen and allow the championship to be a little closer? We just have to wait and see. I mean, if he fails to finish and Danny Kvyat, Kevin Magnussen, Lewis Hamilton and myself all get decent results, it will be very, very close battle for the championship. So hopefully that does happen. Looking at the first rivalry update against Danny Kvyat, it's already 15-4 in the rivalry update. He's already halfway to beating us in this one. Not really too much of a surprise. He's in that Toro Rosso, which is very, very quick. Unfortunately, I forgot to actually look at the constructors' standings when it was up, so here we are having a look at them now. 4th place at the moment, 48 points, 12 points behind Renault and Mercedes, who are on 68 at this stage. Renault on 60, and Toro Rosso have a huge gap in the Constructors' Championship as well. 130 points, 62 points ahead of Mercedes, so a massive gap over them at the moment. If you combine Mercedes and Renault's points together, it would not be enough to go above Toro Rosso, so they are doing fantastically at this stage of the season. We have 521 resource points at this stage of the season. I don't believe that is enough to upgrade the car, so unfortunately we will not be making any upgrades at this Russian Grand Prix, but hopefully we can get loads next time around at the Spanish Grand Prix and see what we can do there. But that's it for today's Russian Grand Prix. If you have enjoyed this race, don't forget to smash that like button. Also subscribe to my channel if you're new around here. We're going to have this career mode coming to you about 3 times a week, and maybe a couple more depending on whether I can get the episodes made or not, but definitely 3 times a week. You can definitely expect that. But next up is the Spanish Grand Prix, which is a bit of a bogey track for myself. I've never done better than 22nd place, so I'll be hoping to do better next time around at that race. I hope to see you there, but until then, it's goodbye from me.